Hi guys, welcome back to another Art from Home with Mrs. Wood. Today we're going to look at what the fifth graders were going to be learning about. And after looking at art from Georgia O'Keeffe, we were going to expand on the subject, which was flowers, and look at another very famous artist named Vincent Van Gogh. And he made these amazing projects and paintings all about sunflowers. So here's an example of one of his famous paintings. And you'll notice that his subject was really specific. He also used a really simple color palette using mainly yellow colors. So this was going to be our inspiration. And a lot of times my fifth and sixth graders get something called student voice, student choice, where they get to design a project based on our theme. So our goal today was going to be to take the theme of a sunflower. Here's a watercolor painting I made a couple years ago. And they were going to create their own project where they showed the idea of our subject, the main part of our project being sunflowers. And here's an acrylic painting. Again, the whole idea was showing sunflowers. So in the art room, they have limitless options of supplies, but I'm going to show you an idea making a sunflower project real quick today using things you probably have at home. So an empty paper towel or toilet paper tube will make a perfect stamp to make some found project art. Blank white paper. I've got some paints here. And out of the kitchen, we're even going to use some pepper today in our art project. So this is just one idea and one way to make some art. But again, the challenge was to create a project that shows a sunflower as our main theme or the main subject. So I'm going to take some regular white Elmer's glue, and we're going to use this to make a circle on a white paper. And this is going to give us the illusion of texture for all of the seeds that would be on a sunflower. And I'm going to take pepper from the kitchen and sprinkle that on my wet white glue so that I have a little circle that looks like seeds of a sunflower. So we like to experiment in art using different objects and different supplies. And especially my fifth and sixth graders, I let them have a lot of freedom with experimenting with different supplies. So I'm going to take some white or some yellow acrylic paint here. I took my tube and squished it so that it makes a petal shape. And this is going to be our stamp now. And you can take that all the way around your sunflower to make petals. So this creates repetition. We're doing the same shape repeated over and over again. We're also using found objects, and we created our own stamp. So this will give you a start to this project. So again, this just gives you one idea. The students would have lots of possibilities, and a lot of times they come up with really creative solutions to a problem. To add more detail, of course, you could fill in your leaves, paint the sunflower petals using more paint. Some kids do not like paint, or you might not have it at home, so you could do most of this project with markers and crayons. Colored pencils would be beautiful as well. So the goal today was going to be to take our inspiration from famous artists and then come up with our own way, our own perspective of that same subject matter. So in this case, we're looking at flowers and then diving in deeper to specifically the sunflower. And this was for fifth grade, but any grade level can do this. It turns out beautiful, and you can use supplies that you find at home. You can simply draw or paint. If you don't want to get a bunch of supplies out, that would be fine. If you decide to make something, please share it with us. I've got a Google Classroom set up for each grade level. You can also send it to me on email, or if it's easier, just use our Facebook page to send that. So here's a couple ideas. Again, just adding more and more detail as we progress through this project. And students are very creative using what they have available to them to show their idea, creation with their own personality. So just think of what you have available to you. What can you use in your home? If you would rather do cut paper, I'll show you a real quick idea for that. Blue for the background, just like the example we looked at from Vincent Van Gogh. His painting had blue in the back. You can cut out the shape of a small vase out of construction paper. And if you don't have construction paper, grab an old magazine. You can cut some of the colors out of a magazine. I'm also going to make a sunflower head from my construction paper here. So cutting out 2 circles. I'm going to go quickly because it's not very much fun to watch somebody cut. So you guys can get the idea of some more projects showing the basic subject of a sunflower. So I've got 2 rough cut circles. I'm going to make some smaller circles. Again, for the head of our sunflower, there's that part in the middle where all of the seeds are. So I'm going to take my black paper and make small circles. And then from this, I apparently have a new student. My cat is coming across the table now. All right, guys, we're going to make some small circles out of my black. And then the idea would be, there we go, got him out of the way, to take your small circle, put it in the middle of your large circle. But this doesn't look very much like a flower yet. So to add some more detail, you could add little cuts around the outside edge of your yellow circle. And this will help give the illusion of some petals. And you can also make it pop up off of your paper a little bit more by doing these cuts all the way around the outside edge. Like you're making fringe, okay? We're just doing cuts all the way around that outside. And I'll show you when we glue this together, we're putting the seeds in the middle, and then you can pull up some of these pieces so that they're bent and create a little bit more depth or interest to our picture. And then you can glue this or staple it on. We can add our little vase to the bottom. So there's no right or wrong. It's just a matter of creating and imagining with supplies that you have, supplies that you can find. Definitely ask mom and dad first what you're allowed to use out of the kitchen or your craft closet. And this will give you an idea for a project showing a sunflower as our subject matter again. All right, so super quick, but you can see how this starts to come to life. You can see some of the texture that this adds. And then when we add our other sunflowers in here, you can have several of them going around. You could go back to the idea of pepper and put that even over the top to create more texture on your project. All right, guys, I can't wait to see what you create. Thinking of the icon and the symbol of a sunflower using paint, watercolor paints, found objects, and being inspired by our famous artists of Georgia O'Keeffe or Vincent Van Gogh. All right, guys, thanks for creating with me.